how is a recap done? How, for early investors, can you get pushed out of a company? What opportunities are there in a recap actually to lean in and maybe capitalize more value to them if they deeply believe in a founder and are supporting them through a recap like that?
And is it for all investors or like only VCs? When you say investors, are we talking angels too?
I think it's usually VCs, right? Have you ever seen an angel participate in a recap on the other side, right? Like not being the ones to like recapped out of a company, but I don't think I've ever seen it.
Yes, I'd say like usually when a recap happens, they recap so that people who participate in this round could get, better ownership, basically. And, people who don't participate get kicked out. So I've definitely seen angels come back to the table and participate, either, in their pro rata amounts, sometimes even beyond that, because like for savvy investors, it could be an interesting opportunity. It feels risky because usually when a company goes through a recap, that's when, their runway is low and, maybe they need more time than they originally thought to reach the next milestones. And some investors are not comfortable with that. And also, each investor has different taste, flavors, and, risk tolerance, right? Sometimes they're like, oh, if you don't reach your goal, your first try, then you're dead to me, right? Or if you have a big enough portfolio and this was not an important investment for you, then you're like, whatever, like I'll just give this up. So it really depends. It really depends. When a recap happens, usually, there will be one firm or two leading it. A lot of the times it's insiders leading the recap, but sometimes it's an outsider that's taking kind of previous investors all out. And they're coming in with like majority of the round and setting the terms so that they can take, sometimes like 20% or even higher ownerships. Sometimes it depends. And sometimes there are like warrants, options, and liquidation preference, all these additional protection measures so that the people who are coming in at a more risky moment in the company trajectory can get rewarded. Because, at the moment, it might seem like, oh, this is not a very investable company, right? Yeah, it's interesting. And because we mostly invest in diverse founders, sometimes we see that, when things don't go as well, the first thing that any like white male investor and board member think of is, oh, let's just kick the female CEO out. Like that has happened so many times.
That's obviously the problem. Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. So like that's an obvious kind of, I don't know, lazy decision or opinion, right? And there have been a few cases where we're like, well, we don't think that's the real issue. And we need to step in if we really still believe in the company.
Yeah, fighting the good fight, Pocket.
Yeah, we've kicked out some, much, much bigger investor and got them out and beat their term sheets and like sitting on the board instead and kind of eventually removing their influence and put the company on a more promising, cash flow conscious trajectory. And that has been very fulfilling but also very challenging.